Welcome to Manila Confidential. Dating in the Philippines isn't some tropical fairy tale. It's a high stakes poker game where you're playing with your entire retirement fund. If you think that sweet 22-year-old in Cebu loves your vibrant personality while you're Western Unioning your social security check, you're not a boyfriend. You're an unpaid ATM with a fast approaching expiration date. Pay attention, because today I'm stripping away the mahal kita fantasy. I'm handing you a brutal war manual to survive this currency war before you end up broke and alone. You've been warned. The money trap isn't about female malice. It's about your Western Disney romance delusions hitting Southeast Asian survival pragmatism. You're likely a guy between 30 and 60, maybe nursing a divorce or just tired of being invisible back home. You've got limited time and a finite pile of cash, yet you're treating this market like a charity ward. In this jungle, you aren't a soulmate, you are a sovereign wealth fund. Every mistake you make carries a heavy price tag that your bank account simply cannot sustain. I've seen men like you land at NAIA Terminal 3 with stars in their eyes and leave with nothing but a maxed out credit card. They think they can buy a permanent emotional sanctuary using a fluctuating currency, failing to realize the game is rigged against the naive Lolo. The slow bleed of daily requests for sick carabaos and cousins' tuition is a tactical strike on your financial armor. You are the white knight in a barong Tagalog, but to the local village, you're just a human lotto ticket. Listen to me very carefully because your retirement fund is currently screaming for help. Total bankruptcy happens when you lose your financial stop loss and start funding an entire ecosystem instead of a relationship. It's you against the world out here, and the humidity isn't the only thing that's going to make you sweat. This isn't academic talk, this is experiential authority from the front lines of the Manila dating scene. If you don't secure your perimeter now, you'll be sleeping on a cardboard box long before the rainy season hits. My mission is to turn your hero fantasy into strategic coldness before you become a depreciating asset traded for a younger expat. Stop being the pity guy everyone talks about at the local expat bar while they sip their San Miguel. You need to understand the logistics of extraction and the necessity of a ghost fund that she can never touch. We are going to dive into 6 brutal rules that will transform you from a victim into an expat sovereign. Keep your wallet closed until this logic makes sense. This is your strategic blueprint, your extraction budget, and your only chance to keep your shirt in this shark-infested water. We are moving from Disney to tactical, and I won't sugarcoat the friction or the taboos involved in this high-risk equity trade. Each rule I'm about to give you is a bet you can't afford to lose if you want to stay in the game. You've been warned, and now it's time to decide. Look at your bank account and tell me, do you want love, sex, or survival? Let's map the terrain before you get flanked. The first rule of engagement is the ATM protocol, a 30% hard ceiling on your disposable income. Most of you Lolos arrive and treat your bank account like an infinite ammo crate. I saw a guy from Ohio, Bill, who thought he was winning by outspending the younger expats in Angeles City. He burned through his savings in 6 months just to hear Mahal Kita twice a week. Are you a boyfriend or a strategic supply line? If the ammo is gone, you retreat immediately. Now, watch out for the Sari Sari store siphon. It's never the big $10,000 bomb that kills your portfolio. It's the $50 sick carabao and the $20 cousin's tuition. These are tactical microprobes designed to test the thickness of your financial armor. Think of yourself as a massive dam. If you allow a tiny pinhole leak for family favors, the entire structure will eventually burst under the pressure of the village's collective greed. Why are you paying for a funeral for a grandmother you've never even met? Is your ego that hungry? I remember Dave, a retired Navy vet who thought he was the village hero. He started by fixing one roof, then suddenly he was the unofficial mayor of a barrio in Leyte. The moment he said no to a new tricycle for her brother, the love turned into a cold, silent ambush. They didn't want him, they wanted the foreign exchange. Practice saying no to every third party request for 3 months. If her affection evaporates when the forex stops flowing, you were never the captain, you were just the cargo. Next, beware the Barong Tagalog mirage. When she takes you to her province, you aren't a fiancé. You are a trophy kill being paraded for the neighbors. They see a human lotto ticket, not a soulmate. Are you really that naive to think her father respects you while you're wearing that itchy shirt and sweating through your dignity? You are the captain of a sinking ship trying to buy the loyalty of a crew that already has their hands on the lifeboats. Visit her hometown empty handed and watch the hospitality die. You're losing the war because you're addicted to being the white knight. This ego driven validation is a lethal defect in your strategy. You think you're building a sanctuary, but you're just funding a wealth transfer mechanism to a local boyfriend you don't even know exists yet. If you can't handle this reality check, pack your bags and go back to Florida. But if you want to survive the next tactical strike, listen close. This next error is the level 1 boss that destroys your reputation and your remaining sanity. It starts with a single emergency text. That emergency text is Rule 4, the emergency firewall. Every medical crisis in this country follows a predictable, high pressure script designed to bypass your logic. You're at a poker table and she's bluffing with a pair of deuces, hoping your Lolo guilt will trigger a fast Gcash transfer. Implement a 48-hour cooling off period immediately. If it's a real emergency, they'll find another way. If it's a trap, the urgency vanishes once they realize the payout isn't instant. Are you a man or a charitable foundation? Now look at the man in the mirror. Your biggest vulnerability isn't her family's greed. It's your own desperate need for validation. You should be the captain of your destiny, but you're acting like a passenger in a Manila taxi, letting her drive you into a financial ravine. She uses fake jealousy to make you feel desired, and you pay for it with your retirement. Is her scripted tampo worth your dignity? If you can't dictate the route, you're just cargo waiting to be dumped. Let's talk about Rule 5, the runway exit strategy. Never sell your primary residence back home to buy land here that you can't legally own. That's financial suicide, plain and simple. You must maintain a liquid ghost fund in a domestic bank that she knows nothing about. Think like a pilot. Flying into a storm without enough fuel to reach an alternate airport is a death wish. This fund is your extraction budget. Without a return ticket, you're a prisoner, not a sovereign partner. You've been warned. Rule 6 is the Paluagan trap, also known as the business proposal. Suddenly, she wants a piggery, a laundry shop, or a new tricycle for her kuya. This is a tactical wealth transfer mechanism to her local village, or worse, a secret local boyfriend. You provide the capital while they provide the management, which is just a fancy Filipino word for theft. Your venture capital with zero voting rights and total liability. Demand a 10-page business plan and watch her entrepreneurial spirit evaporate instantly. Why fund them? The humidity isn't the only thing making you sweat. It's the realization that your special connection is just a cold equity trade. You're being bled dry while she's already planning the next extraction. Most of you are too cowardly to cut the cord because you fear the silence of an empty apartment. But the psychological war is won only when you kill the hero fantasy inside you. Pay attention, because the game changes when you stop negotiating with hope. There's something darker behind her smile. Listen, you've spent enough time crying into your Red Horse beer about how unfair the world is. It's time to stop being a victim of the Pinay magic and start being the commanding officer of your own wallet. We're shifting gears right now from diagnosing your pathetic hero fantasy to a cold binary framework of operational dominance. Dating here is a logistics exercise, not a Hallmark movie, so put down the flowers and pick up your calculator. You're either the captain or the cargo. Choose your side. Welcome to the runway protocol. Before you commit another single peso, you need a pre-flight checklist that would make a Cebu Pacific pilot look reckless. Every interaction must pass through a binary filter. Is she adding value to your life or just extracting equity from your future? If the check engine light is blinking emergency remittance or family tuition, you do not clear for takeoff. You stay grounded until the perimeter is secure. A man without a checklist is just a crash waiting to happen at NAIA Terminal 3. Let's apply the static friction test. Stop the flow of extra pasalubong money for 1 week and watch the telemetry. If her text frequency drops or her mahal kita starts sounding like a script from a bad soap opera, you have your answer. A real asset remains stable under financial pressure. A liability starts glitching the moment the Gcash balance hits zero. Don't negotiate with a failing engine. If she can't handle a minor turbulence in your spending, she'll definitely bail during a real emergency. Your decision matrix needs to be as cold as the air conditioning in a high-end Makati mall. You categorize every request into operational or extractive. Food and shelter are operational. Her brother's new iPhone or a village fiesta is extractive. You never fund extraction. Period. If you can't enforce these boundaries, you're not a boyfriend. You're just a high interest loan that she never intends to pay back. Secure your own oxygen mask first before you try to save a village that doesn't even like you. This framework isn't just about saving money, it's about reclaiming your soul from the low scrap heap. You've been cleared for the tactical phase, but you need to be ready to walk away from the runway if the conditions aren't perfect. Real power is the ability to say no and sleep soundly while she pouts. Grab your notebook and clear your head, because the next phase is pure field execution. If you miss a single step, you're going down in flames. Anota isu, because the real war starts now. Imagine the scene. She's crying in the corner, her mother is calling about a sudden hospital bill, and you haven't had sex in a week because the mood is magically gone. This is the ping-pong match of your life, Lolo. If you react wildly, swinging your wallet at every ball she lobs, you've already lost the point before your paddle even touches the rubber. You're sweating, the humidity is suffocating, and your heart is racing because you fear the cold silence more than total bankruptcy. Pay attention now. But wait, you remember the ATM protocol. You look at your Gcash and see you've already hit that 30% ceiling for the month. She says her kuya needs a new motorcycle for his delivery job, or she's leaving for the province tonight. Your pulse stabilizes because you have a checklist. You say no and watch the telemetry. The crying stops instantly, replaced by a cold, calculating stare. That's the mask slip I promised you. You just saved $5,000 and your remaining dignity from a scripted ambush. Most guys fold here, terrified they'll end up alone eating Jollibee on a Friday night. Not you. Because you followed the 48-hour firewall, you discovered the emergency surgery was actually just a down payment on a karaoke machine for the next barangay fiesta. You didn't just save money, you bought yourself absolute power. You're now the apex predator in this Makati condo, not the prey. While other expats are being bled dry by pity, you're sipping a cold sand mig, knowing your ghost fund is secure. The hardest part isn't the money. It's the silence when she stops the honey I love you routine to punish your boundaries. This is where the ping pong table turns into a battlefield of the soul. She's testing your hero fantasy to see if you'll break under the pressure of being called selfish. If you can't handle being the villain in her carefully crafted soap opera, you'll never be the captain. A man who fears a quiet room is a man who will eventually pay for a noisy prison. Here is the final law, your absolute sentence of survival. Your value in this country is exactly equal to the no you are willing to defend. If you can't stand your ground when the tears start flowing and that heavy utang na loob guilt kicks in, you deserve the bankruptcy coming your way. You are either the architect of your own sanctuary or the financier of your own destruction. The game is moving at light speed now, and the next ball coming at your head is a total lifestyle kill. Recap the mission: ceilings, firewalls, and runways. You have officially transitioned from a naive, bleeding ATM into a strategic expat sovereign. Every Mahal Kita you previously bought with a weak yes was a shovel full of dirt for your own financial grave. But every no you defended today is a reinforced brick in your fortress. Why remain a victim when you can finally own the deck? The Philippine currency war isn't won by the man with the most dollars. It's won by the man who keeps the keys. Think of the bee and the flower, Lolo. A flower doesn't beg the bee to stay by offering its roots. It provides nectar only when the timing is right. If you give away the whole garden just to feel a buzz, you're left with nothing but dirt while she flies to the next blossom. Desperation is a scent these girls can track from miles away. Are you a man of value or just a seasonal harvest? Access is a consequence of your frame, never a reward for your bankruptcy. You have 24 hours to audit your Gcash history and cut the wire on at least one extractive emergency immediately. If you can't do that, stop watching and go back to being a human lotto ticket for the village. If you value your shirt and your sanity, hit that like button, subscribe to Manila Confidential, and drop a comment with the word sovereign so I know who's actually listening. Your survival feeds this channel. Don't let the humidity rot your brain. Stay sharp, stay cold, and keep your wallet locked. This war manual isn't free to produce, and your support via PayPal or a super thanks keeps these extraction reports coming. Every dollar you send here is a dollar you aren't wasting on a fake piggery in Bulacan. Consider it your strategic insurance against the Lolo scrap heap. We are building a circle of men who refuse to be cargo. I've given you the logic, now go execute the mission. I'm out, but remember, be the bank, not the ATM. Stay disciplined and never forget who's the captain.